Hi there. Hope you're doing good today. We are here to do a reading on who are you when you're not performing. And kind of where this idea stemmed from was yesterday I was thinking about how, sorry about that. Yesterday I was thinking about how I used to act like a extrovert, but I've always been an introvert. So not to say that that's what's going to come through, but I was thinking about how so many people I know are introverted and how they used to act extroverted as well. So I just kind of want to see where in our lives we are perhaps still performing and who we actually are as a person opposed to that, okay? So stick around if you resonate. 9 of Cups, that's beautiful. Abundant, a wish fulfillment card, so you get your wishes fulfilled. Emotionally mature, beautiful. Or you might surround yourself too with 9 of Pentacles, abundant. That's what I almost said with the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is abundant as well, but 9 of Pentacles is really abundant. So, you might not. 4 of Wands, are you joking me? That's like commitment with the King of Cups. No, maybe, but that's giving a vibe of like, maybe you don't see yourself as abundant. Maybe you're performing as somebody who is lack mindseted, or whatever. King of Pentacles, are you joking? Wow, beautiful, beautiful energy. While we're working hard, you're a hard worker. While we're shuffling. Now, I don't think most people pretend like they're not a hard worker. I don't feel like that's a thing, but maybe you just needed to hear some of those things about yourself to start off. I'm lighting the sage again, and then we're going to actually see what comes out in the reading. It might be one of those scenarios where, oh no, the King of Swords. So that is 3 kings. The only king we have yet to see is the King of Wands. I mean, obviously the other 2 did not come out, but I only want 1 card. Page of Wands, okay. The King of Swords is very, clear about his, this is so crazy how this keeps happening. He's very clear about his direction. Like, he knows where he's supposed to go, but with the Knight of Swords reversed, maybe you act like you don't know what you're supposed to do. Or you just make rash decisions and ooh, yuck. This is there's so much masculine energy. And not that I don't get guys that come and watch my stuff. See, this is 4 of Pentacles upright is lack-minded. So being that it's reversed, right? It feels like you kind of like loosening up and understanding that you're abundant and you're gonna, this looks really crooked. We're gonna space these out a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, I know, but my hands are shaking and I think it's because of one of my new medications, so I apologize. I'm going to mention my doctor about it. How about I just do this? Here's an idea, but I still have all this. Well, we're going to need the space. Okay, I'm going to leave it. But, so you might have always, I was saying masculine. There's a lot of masculine energy. I tend to get mostly female watchers or feminine watchers. So what that's telling me is you might act like masculine, but you're actually a female. And not that, okay, let me clarify. Not that there's anything wrong if you're a female and you transition to a male, or you are a lesbian and you have more of a masculine kind of like personality and how you show up in the world physically. No, what I mean is masculine energy. We all have feminine and masculine energy, and masculine energy looks like control, tyranny, manipulation. Sometimes I don't think people are, oh, I shut my eye and it twitched. Okay, there's people who are manipulative that are watching this video, and I don't want you to get scared by that word, because I've done that before too. I didn't realize I was doing it. It's just something I learned from watching others do it, and then situations that I was put in. And I'm not excusing myself or you. That's something you need to work on if you're doing that, okay? But the point is that there's a lot of masculine energy coming through, and not that you shouldn't keep the masculine energy, but you need to balance it with the feminine energy. That's what you really need to bring forward right now. And really, it's crazy. Really, the Four of Pentacles, like receiving and allowing yourself to believe you're abundant and that kind of energy, is very feminine. And the Two of Cups is masculine, feminine energy balance there, okay? Yeah, nostalgia. Okay, you can still see those, but eventually I'm going to be pulling oracle cards here. Six of Wands, victory. Okay, we still have room for that, but let's move that out of the way. Bottom of the deck, Four of Cups reversed. Okay. I'm getting a strong sense of like, woe is me, kind of, with this group that's watching. And like, I don't think you intend to do that. And I relate to this, actually. I don't think you intend to. You might have found yourself as like a victim for a lot of your life, and, you know, victim of circumstance, I'm hearing. So, you know, like, those are things that happen to you that you didn't really necessarily ask for. But that doesn't mean that that's the case now. So you need to kind of like flip your mindset, you know what I'm saying, to know that you are abundant. You can get all that you dream of, you know, and it's not all about you, right? You have to understand. That's one big thing you have to understand. And I feel like for a lot of you, this started in childhood. The Four of Pentacles upright. So the fact that you're making strides to get out of this mentality is a bigger deal than you think. Like, your ancestors are proud. I feel like you come from a long line of these kind of people that are negative, the glass is half empty, you know, that sort of thing. So this is no small feat. Like, God is saying, I understand why it's so hard for you. And that's why this reading is, who are you when you're not performing? Because it's like really hard to stop doing what you've done for however old you are, right? I mean, I'm 43, going to be 44 in August. And so I've been performing in these ways my whole life, and I've been working on them for a long time, but it's like, damn, it's so hard to kind of not, you know, do the things that you're used to. And, you know, when you perform a certain way, you know what kind of result you're going to get, and that's more comfortable than the unknown. Like, okay, what if I'm abundant and it's great and then everything gets taken away? You know, you might think like that, and that's the lack mentality, this upright. So you get the picture. Excuse me. That's what I want to talk about to start, and then we're going to pull. I got to decide what I'm going to do here, because I want to use my Dead Inside cards just because I love them, but I did bring out a specific deck. It's kind of weird because it's a archetype deck. It's kind of weird though, because I'm looking at it and I'm not wanting to use it. And I think if it was really supposed to happen, I would be pulling it. So we're going to go with Dead Inside. It's funnier anyway, and that might lighten things up, because I feel like and I just did a reading about like rigidity. I feel like a really rigid kind of energy from you. And hello, same, constantly exhausted. Yeah, from performing, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of card in here that came out like that. Like drama. Can't sleep, might spiral. I'm noticing the same pattern, blue. And actually, that just reminded me, I had a dream last night about, my mom was in it actually, and we were, I want to say we were shopping or something, and I had put on, or I was looking for an outfit, and I was tending to pick it was like a jacket maybe, not an outfit or sweater or something, and I was tending to pick a patterned sweater, and when I woke up, I forgot about this dream till just now. I went, oh, there's a pattern, right? There's the keep picking the pattern. Same kind of idea, okay? What tears? Tears? What tears? That cracks me up. Gotta do a middle one for that. Blocked as fuck. Yeah, so that block card, there's so much blue. Look at this. Overthinking hour. And that's kind of blue. That's blue. This blocked is fuck. You might, with that lack, kind of, if this was upright, kind of what you're working through, you might look at situations with people that didn't work out as something that was, you know, not that it wasn't supposed to be for you, but that, oh, nothing ever works out for me kind of mentality, right? And that's something you're trying to understand now, that like, nothing that is for you is going to leave you, right? Putting off feeling again, yeah. Over explaining everything, okay, yep. Where my people pleasers at? I'm sure I got a lot of them in this video right now watching. Whew, okay. Sorry, I just ate and I'm like, maybe I should have waited. I'm like out of breath because I'm full. And the smoke. So we've got the King of Swords upright with made the list, ignored the list, guilt, avoidance, shut down. This is like the opposite of this. So you probably are a person that's very put together on the surface, and perhaps like me, instead of writing lists, you're like, oh God, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I got, like at nighttime or right when you first get up, look at the clocks and look at, there's a to-do list. So you're pretending like I've got all this clarity, I've got it all figured out. But then you're like, you've got this guilt and you're shutting down and you're avoiding what it is that you really want to do. And I just looked at this card again and there's butterflies. That's transformation, okay? So you probably have a tendency, which a lot of us do, to avoid the deep stuff. So whether it's healing or your feelings towards something, and it even could be a good feeling, right? Or maybe it's something that you just know you need to take care of, but you're like, I'm gonna, like, procrastinators unite tomorrow. I need to find that shirt. I am that person. That's part of ADHD. I'm an active ADHD. So that means that I get overwhelmed, very overwhelmed from having too much to do. And I don't like lists because they don't make me feel organized. For most people, they do. But that just tells me I've got all this shit to do and I need to get it done right now. That's how my mind works. Not everybody works like that. Maybe you like to-do lists, but you have too much on your to-do list. Like maybe you are not allowing yourself to actually sit and rest and try to focus and gain clarity because you're just so bogged down with tasks that maybe aren't all yours to carry. Relate, okay? That's a good message. I like that. Page of Wands, upright, I almost said reverse, with tears. What tears? Denial, emotional leak, pretense. So, you know, pages are very young, and this particular page is very inspired. wants to take action. I've got chills towards passions and what I want to do. And the fact that like there's connectors, right? This row is connecting with this row by this stuff. I feel like some of your enjoyable things get caught up, like you don't have your enjoyable things on your to-do list. Shame on you. I can relate because sometimes I get stuck in this loop of like, well, I rested yesterday all day, so I need to go do stuff. But it's like, what if I'm fatigued and I need another day? Or, you know, I didn't do any dishes or anything yesterday, so I have to do something today that is like household chores. Like, why? I don't have guests. I don't have to do that. I mean, I'm glad I am trying to focus on those things because, see, I used to have a hard time cleaning and I thought I was lazy, but it really was truly, I was just overwhelmed by all the things I thought I had to do. But you don't have to do any of those things. Those things you should do. You want to keep your house clean, right? But it's not something that is life or death, where you have to make sure you have insurance, you know, like health insurance, or well, it's not life or death, but that's something really important. Or you have to make sure you're fed, like everyday stuff. So yeah, I feel like there's a need to really allow yourself to take action towards things that you want. And it's okay if you know, if it makes you, like, if you have moments of like shutting down and feeling like, you know, I didn't get enough done, so I feel guilty. Like, just like what I was saying, a lot of people that are coming here might be procrastinators, but you also might be perfectionists. That's what this vibe's giving, especially, you know, this. You may have been taking, like for me, right? I've been in business since, was it 2022? I think I started I like made it official. I didn't just start then. So that's what, 4 years. And for me, I feel like, you know, if I were to just say to you right now, if you asked me, Colette, how's your business doing? I would say not great financially, but like otherwise, I am so tuned in to my gifts and my intuition that I am amazing at what I do. Okay. So before, I wouldn't have said that though. Before, I would have just said my business is failing because I'm not financially successful, but it's going to happen. Right. So, you know, you might, this might be the case for you where you're like, man, I really haven't gotten very far. But it's good to have that beginner energy because that's how you stay focused and passionate about what you love doing. Otherwise, it gets redundant, or you're thinking like me where you're like, man, should I be doing this? It's not making a profit. Well, it's what I love doing, so I'm going to keep doing it. It doesn't matter, even if I've got to just have this other job that I'm doing, right? So then in between these two, we've got the Knight of Swords reversed, the Two of Cups, the Six of Cups reversed, and blocked as fuck. Cut off, disbelief, avoidance. Very interesting energy. When I think of the Knight of Swords, he's very reckless, especially if he's reversed, because he's trying to just like charge forward, and it's like clumsy, right? He's clumsy. He's kind of like, let's say you need a instruction guide for something. He's the guy who won't read any of it. And then he makes mistakes, and then he's got to, you know, go back and fix it. So very interesting that you got the Two of Cups, because that, like I said, that's like balance. But the Six of Cups is reverse, is very like rose colored glasses on. So before, this doesn't feel like a now thing though. Like maybe you already worked through this. Excuse me. This probably is love life related, but it could be anything, okay? Anything that you resonate with. Before, you would charge forward with like hope in your heart, and you know, you would be looking at this individual or these individuals or this thing like it's the best thing ever. And then you would get to a point where this person would just disappear, ghost you, or just say, hey, you weren't what we were looking for if it's a job. And you're like, I don't understand what keeps going wrong. It's the same idea of what I was saying. You know, you're not going to chase after something that, like, and you're not going to get something that was not meant for you. You're going to get something that is meant for you, and you're going to keep it. So how does it pertain to these cards? Man, I just got super fatigued there for a minute. This is definitely a pattern that people are repeating. So that leads me to believe this is a work thing. This is a love thing. Like, this is a pattern in every area of your life where you're just going, I'm going to force this to work out because I feel like it's gonna, or I feel like this is the right person or the right place, the right time. And then, you know, you end up being left out in the cold. So you're who you need to be in this scenario is someone who is prepared for whatever the outcome is, because maybe you're expecting everything to fail because it usually does. That's kind of this. Okay, everything always fails on me. The lack mindset, right? But it doesn't. You need to think of things that were successful, and don't look at all these other people, places, things that didn't work out as failures. Look at it as a new opportunity. You're probably a person that had to start again a couple of times in your life, or maybe a lot in your life. Like, I've had a lot of boyfriends, and I was married one time. I feel like a failure in that area, or I used to, I should say. Now I don't, because I understand that I was a different person and I just settled for anybody. I was in this energy. When I would meet somebody, I'd be like, they're the best person ever. This is totally going to work out. But I actually did not believe that in my core. And I do have to say though, I didn't believe that with my boyfriend now, but now not now. What I was going to say is I understand that that was a different version of me that just thought, oh, it's not going to work out, because nothing ever does. But I know he's a person for me. I always knew that right from the beginning. It's just scary to kind of let your guard down and really get in your feelings, like I was talking about being this person. So, and being vulnerable, that was really hard, and it still is hard for me to this day. Still is hard, but I trust my guy wholeheartedly, and when I'm ready, I share things. But he knows he knows my deepest, darkest secrets, and, I'm just really lucky and grateful. So, I didn't mean to talk about me. I was just sharing that so you understand that if you are still living in the loop, you can get out if you're living in the pattern. And for me, my dream, that's why I'm doing this, because I want to know what I'm pretending on, what the pattern still is that I'm still living in. And the masculine energy, I really resonate with that, because I can be really rigid. The perfectionism, the procrastination, like all those things I totally resonate with. And I'm sure there's going to be more as we go on here. Let me take a drink. So it's really important, the nostalgic piece, I want to say before we move on, that you are not like the rose-colored glasses. I mean, like, you are not settling for anything. That you got to make sure you're getting what you deserve. And sometimes you don't know what it is that you want, and that is totally okay. You got to sit with that and go, what do I really want? And get to the bottom of it. That's the fun part. Get in that page energy and make your miracles happen. I think that's what lizards mean in the deck that I have, okay? So then we've got the Emperor reversed. Oops, sorry. With constantly exhausted, fatigued, drained, hopeless. What did I say? I was really fatigued. I'm so sorry. So there's a lot of nighttime thinking with this group. Meditation before bed. If you don't want to do that, put on, like, I know this is kind of weird. My friend Carrie told me about this like years ago, and I love it when I can't shut my mind off. Listen to affirmations, or even put on like a song that's like upbeat, or maybe not upbeat because that might get you kind of moving, but what I was doing for a while was when I was having a hard time, like my mental health, I was singing songs in my bed, and I was kind of dancing around, and that would get me to relax and go to sleep. But I don't recommend that. I would say put on something like slow, but like that's, you know, good vibes, and listen to it, put it on repeat, and eventually you'll fall asleep. Unless you're like me and you gotta keep singing the song. I don't know, but I feel like that's part of your problem. Like a big part of your problem is overthinking, and the overthinking is coming with you being somebody you're not, right? So you got to stop pretending like you're not, like you're this person. It feels like expectations of others, right? That's what pretending means to me. When you're pretending to be somebody else, that's what I think of is like, okay, it doesn't really matter who expected it of me. It's like, what did somebody expect of me, that I am over here living like I still have to do this, because I don't. So the Emperor reverse is a tyrant, like I was saying. So I feel like a lot of you probably resonate with the fact that you feel or have felt like you're out of control. So that means that your response, well, it doesn't mean, but like what you're probably doing to counteract that or cope with that unhealthy coping style right here is trying to control everything else around you. Okay, and that is draining the shit out of you. So that might be why you're doing too much. Like for me, I feel like I was doing a lot because I was making up for lost time, and I actually had energy, because part of it was fatigue. And I don't have that kind of fatigue where I'm like drained because of people I'm around, or I'm overdoing, or, you know, whatever. I'm not afraid to ask for help now if I need it. So, you know, you might, and I'm getting like really tense right now talking about this. This might be a very hard subject for you to talk about. So you might just take everything on. Like, this is literally what I was doing, and I still do sometimes, and I have to catch myself, because then I either react out to my boyfriend like I'm mad at him because I didn't say anything, or I just completely drain myself like I was before. And my boyfriend's more than willing to help me with things. So that's on me, and this is on you. You have to change that mentality. This is a lack, if you think about it, this is a lack way of existing too, because it's like, it's not going to get done right if I don't do it, or it's never going to get done if I don't do it. Whatever the case is, like, you're taking way too much on here, okay? So stop pretending like everything's your responsibility when you know it's not. Even if you don't have a partner, like, you might take responsibility for, let's say you do a group project, you might take responsibility for the group's failure or whatever. And I actually have a specific scenario I want to give. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because I'm hanging on to something. I don't know what it is, but there's somebody that I don't talk to anymore that we did something. It's not like a felony, or it's like, well, I wouldn't call it minor, but it's not something we could get in trouble for, but it was something that we shouldn't have done, right? We did something that we shouldn't have done, and we got caught, and I took the full responsibility for it, right? And now when I look at it, I just think that person's a coward because they didn't step up. Now, I don't have any animosity towards them. It's in the past, but I want to release it completely. So I had to kind of sit with, okay, what am I upset of, or what, not upset, but what is still hanging around from this? I don't even think about that person, right? So when I realized, it was like, oh, yeah, that really wasn't fair to me that I took the responsibility of that, then, you know, I can let this kind of energy go where I'm trying to, you know, take the weight of everything And it's the reason why I used to do, and I'm only sharing this because if you resonate, like, you're not alone and we can talk about it. I really want to get my group going. I forget what it's called, but it's basically for people who are on their healing journey, wherever you're at, so you can share, you know, what you're having trouble with, because this is an exact thing that would really help a lot of people. But I'm sharing it on here, so maybe it'll help you. Let's hope I can remember it now that I went on a tangent. Shit. So the reason why I was taking blame for other people or responsibility for other people was because I wanted to be liked by them. I thought if, you know, I did XYZ and I took responsibility and I did all these things for him, because it's also that, like, when I first started dating my boyfriend, I did literally everything because I wanted him to love me, but I didn't need to do any of that. That's when I was insecure and I didn't know my worth, right? So that's what this energy is. You don't have to control anything. If you're around the right people, they will give accordingly. Like, they will reciprocate. You know what I mean? This is not how you want to live. This is a big, big, big thing that's standing in your way, I have to say. Hey, that rhymed. Do you want to go down by the bay? Make some clay? Oh, wait, what does he say? Go down by the bay. Lay down in the hay. What do you say? I don't know, whatever. I love Adam Sandler. He's my fave. Okay. So then we got the Four of Pentacles reversed. Can't sleep, might spiral. Not overthinking, emotional overload. We had emotional leak over here. Interesting. I'm going to need to pull a clarifier on this one. Where do I want to go? I think I'm going to go here just because I don't feel like shuffling that. Like, there's something about this deck that I'm avoiding. I'm like, nah, I don't really want it. Or maybe I'm just being lazy. Let's see if we can get out of here. If not, we'll shuffle that deck. It's too much. Overstimulation. Panic, mental overload, emotional and mental. So there's something tied to money that, or physical things that is mentally and emotionally too much for you. This is going to probably be different for everybody. But the thing that you're pretending to do here is that you're taking on more than you should, just like this over here. But if we're thinking about it as I've got more than enough, I feel like you're acting a certain way, like you've got all this money or that you've got it all put together, but on the inside, that's what it is. You're like mentally, emotionally, like going through it. I was not expecting this to be a trigger warning. I'm going to have to put that in the beginning because this is very heavy. All right, let me pull an affirmator real quick to lighten it up. So what kind of affirmation, God, can you give the collective right now to kind of get through this, the rest of this reading, and especially right now? So it's okay that you're doing that, but I want, see, this is tied to worth again. I feel like we want these two. Open-mindedness, rigid, loyalty, and not the mind showing up. Okay. I just want to tell you, you're worth every fucking penny. Okay. Flexibility. Yes. So this is coming in on the rigid kind of behavior. So I feel like you think, and I think this for sure, because I am rigid as well. And that's kind of the Virgo in me. I'm right on the cusp of Leo and Virgo, and I call myself a Lurgo. I'm sure you're tired of this story, but I've lived most of my life in the Virgo energy and the masculine. So now it's very hard for me to be in my soft feminine Leo. Well, fiery. I'm glad I can talk. Fiery Leo energy. But yeah, this is very rigid. Like I've got all this going on for me, but on the inside, I'm like really I'm having a hard time, and it's projecting out onto other people because I'm pretending like everything's okay when it's not. And, you know, if you're around the right people, like I think you are, and maybe not all of them are the right people, find the right people that you can talk to that are going to understand you, or at least listen. You know what I'm saying? I just noticed we have 2 4s and 2 6s. I hope I remember. I keep forgetting to put numbers. So, 1 second here. 4 of Pentacles. I want to see what it says in the actual book about the 4 of Pentacles. Selfish. Yeah. Materialism. Interesting. Self-interest. Yeah. See, I was saying you're acting like I have it all, but that's not the truth, because you're drained because of the fatigue, the drain, the emotional overload, the mental overload, the emotional leak. Like, it's just too much. I'm so sorry. I'm giving you a big hug. See a therapist if you're not, like, seriously. I see one. I love my therapist. I see her once a week. And actually, I love God, because the other day I was on Facebook, and I'm part of this group for my county, and somebody posted like a grief support thing that they have weekly, and I'm going to go to that, because it's like, I'm struggling with the loss of my father, right? So that'd be a perfect thing to go and talk about. So just find communities, find people that you can, and join my community if you want. And we, you know, right now there's not anybody signed up, but it can be me and you. It could be a one-on-one, and we can talk about healing, you know, whatever. Anyway, open-mindedness. I cultivate and maintain an open mind that is ready and willing to be pleasantly surprised. Rather than write off new ideas, I stop assuming they won't work. Rather than write off new associations, I stop assuming I won't like them. Instead, I dare them all to prove me wrong. What a pleasure it will be to lose that bet, right? Excuse me. And if it turns out my negative instinct was right, well, told you so. Not that ego. This is ego right here. Loyalty. I'm there for the people I care about in whatever way they need me, and vice versa. It doesn't say that on here, but ride to the airport, no problem. Bail you out of jail, you bet. Go see your band again, maybe. The point is, when I stand with them, I know I'm part of something special. And to be honest, it doesn't suck to look around me and remember they're standing with me too. That's beautiful. And I think with this like kind of selfish energy, maybe you forget that other people are struggling, and it's okay. It's okay. Don't get down on yourself. It's because you're going through a lot yourself. Like, don't minimize what you're going through, but maybe it'll help you to kind of like say, hey, Catherine, that's my friend's name, and I'm going to text her after this. Hey, Catherine, what's going on with you? Tell me how you're doing. I really want to hear, okay? Like, you may be at capacity, but maybe Catherine, your type of Catherine will tell you, man, I am just having a really hard time, and I appreciate you looking out for me. And then it's going to feel really good for you, right? You're going to go, ha, see, it's not all about me, and I feel good because I listened to a friend. So then we've got the 6 of Wands with overthinking hour, racing thoughts, insomnia loops. Yeah. 6 of Wands is all about victory. So this feels like, so we're talking about pretending who we are, who we are, but who do we want to be? We want to be in the 6 of Wands energy. Of course we want a victory, but we're never going to get the victory if we're constantly looking for the victory, right? We have to be along with the journey. But maybe that's something you're used to because that's what you've always done. So you need to get out of that habit. And here's a perfect example, actually, of how you can do that. So today, I was getting ready to do this reading, and I actually couldn't do it at the time, and I got frustrated. But then I went, you know what? It's going to be even better later. And it has turned out freaking amazing. I was right. But I always talk to God before I come and do these videos because I want to make sure you're protected, I'm protected, and all that jazz. Well, this time I did something different, and I said, God, I understand that I'm coming at my business in the wrong energy, that I feel like I'm looking for that end goal, and then I'm really trying to make this work, and I'm not coming at this more in the flow. I said some of it is like, I am a lot better than I used to be, for sure. I am in the flow a lot better, but I do understand that like a lot of creators worry about numbers. And I said, I know I worry about numbers, but really, and this is the God's honest right here, because I was talking to God, I love what I do. So I told God, I understand, what is happening right now. And I want you to know that all I do care about is the people that come here and that need my help and that are going to see this video whenever they're supposed to see it. I said, I just want to help people. So I'm sorry that I'm coming in this energy where I'm worried about numbers, but I really do care about each and every one of you. And I do want this to help you and for you to be successful because of it. So I had that talk with God, and I know that he knows that, but it was good that I said that. That made me feel good. So, start having those conversations with God, even with yourself, saying, I really want that victory, but I understand that it takes a lot to get there, and you're never going to be at an end point anyway. So even when I get really successful, I'm still going to strive for more, because that's what we do, and that's not a bad thing, okay? So last but not least, we have the 4 Cups reversed with putting off feeling again. So wait, I kept looking at the 4 Cups. This card's really important. Stubborn self-absorption, lost opportunities. Getting stuck on a negative train of thought. There is a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Protecting yourself by withdrawing away from your relationships is keeping you isolated instead of keeping you safe. So a lot of you learned that when things didn't go right, and I mean to the extreme, and I relate to this, okay? You might have lived in a home, and my parents didn't intentionally do this. I know they didn't. This is just something, like, my brother had a different reaction to it than I did. So my parents never fought in front of us, like, with words. They didn't raise their voices. We never really got yelled at. We got disciplined, don't get me wrong, but that's how they thought would be a good way to raise us. And I understand why they did it. I'm defending them because this is not like I say, it affects everybody differently, and no parent is perfect. Like, this is not something that I would ever blame my parents for. I'm glad they didn't scream and yell, I can tell you that. I might have a different set of problems. So, but anyway, the extreme of that is that I used to have trouble with any kind of confrontation, right? I used to think that if I had a disagreement, I literally thought my friend was done with me because we had a disagreement. So, the reason why I'm sharing that, you might go to extremes because you think like this is something that happened when you were younger and you had to pretend like everything's fine when it really isn't fine. So you're just putting off kind of being in that space again because it's just too hard to get in that other space where this thing goes wrong, because it's like, this is what I always was told to do, and it's not healthy. Delayed grief, resistance, shutdown. That's 2 shutdowns from the beginning to the end. So when you are overwhelmed, overstimulated, all that kind of different stuff, you shut down, okay? So you need to start recognizing that. You might get tunnel vision. I get that, where I'm just like, this is too much and I gotta like not be there. Like, I do that. So a lot of what's showing up for you, your body is telling you, like, this is me pretending right now. This isn't actually who I am. Your body's trying to tell you by, being emotionally overwhelmed, by being mentally overwhelmed, by not being able to sleep, by overdoing, by overly crying, whatever the case is, you got to really listen to your body, okay? And I feel like I want to pull, I'm gonna do it because clearly I'm meant to use this deck. This is the like, well, I mean, 2 times I thought about using it, and I just feel like God wants me to. So we're gonna pull from the archetype deck and see what your potential is, okay? Because I feel like we need to end it on a light note, because man, was this not what I was expecting. Heavy, really heavy. I relate, angel. You are just a beautiful human. You don't, you know, the masculine energy, you know what it does too? Yeah, a lot of you are mediators or supposed to be some kind of like attorney or something. But the masculine energy, oh God, what was I going to say about the masculine energy? I don't know. Well, it puts you in a space where you can't, it's matter of fact, you know, it's like you can't be soft and receive. You're pretending, again, you're just pretending masculine, and you can't, like, you got to get a balance of both. Not saying, see, what's interesting, so we have all this masculine energy, and then you've got 2 emotional cards. So if you're emotionally reactive, that's feminine. That's the toxic side, the shadow side, I should say, of the feminine energy. So you don't want to be either of those things. You want to be emotionally sound, and it's okay to cry. We're not saying that. But if you're like excessively crying in front of people, you know that there's something wrong. I used to be that person for sure. I used to cry in front of people at random. I wouldn't cry at all, and then randomly I would just be like, as my boyfriend would say, like that. He makes faces at me too. Can you tell he's like not emotional at all? No, he actually is very soft. He just doesn't realize it. Okay. At least with me anyway. Interesting, we saw that upright when we were shuffling. So Knight, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. That's, so you probably do show up in this energy, but that's weird. I feel like, especially we had the Knight of Swords here. I mean, that's not the Knight of Cups, but I feel like it's very much what you're looking for in a person, and you might have already found them. I don't know, but that's beautiful. So then we've got visionary reversed. Selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. So you are a person who, that's what I was saying about if you kind of take responsibility for things, then you're left with, resentment and not like allowing other people to take responsibility for their stuff, and you're looking for acceptance and you're not going to get it. But I feel like you are a visionary, and the upright version of this is when it's light. So when you get there, it's going to look like this: capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. So look what I was just telling you about my business. I'm doing this for free. This video, how 48 minutes right now. It's probably going to be an hour. I'm doing this for free out of the goodness of my heart. Okay? So that's a visionary. That's who I am. That's who you are. You're just not accepting it yet. You're not there yet completely. I feel like you started working on this though. But what I want to say is a lot of people watching this are very intuitive. Start using that gift. It'll really help you out. Damsel reverse. Well, we can already tell you what this says. Waiting for a knight to provide for you. Seduction by romantic illusion. I used to be this person. Oh my God, she's got the same pattern as she's got on. So you might be farther along than you think with the visionary. Might be more like this instead of reversed. Or like that. Okay. So damsel in the upright, the light, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. You don't need a knight. So you might actually think, and it's not even about romance, just romance, you might actually think that you need someone to save you, but you're the one who's going to do it. I really hope this reading helped you. Any likes, shares, comments on my channel, but especially subscribers to my channel are super appreciated. and helpful. I am trying to monetize this channel, this YouTube channel. I have to get to 1,000 subscribers. So tell your friends, please, and thank you. If you'd like to donate to my channel, it's not expected but appreciated. I have CashApp, Venmo, and PayPal. I will put that in the comments as well. I have a phone number now. I have a phone for my business. That was so exciting. So you can text, call to book a reading, or you can text me for one free card. That's it. That's all you get. And I will put all that information in the comments as well. And then if, right now I do, well, not right now, this will be indefinitely. I'm doing video readings. They're a little cheaper than the one-on-one readings. So you can get a 10, 20, 30-minute video reading. And they're the cost of how long they are. So, I mean, $30 for 30 minutes, that's pretty great. And then I do one-on-one readings. Like I say, those ones are a little more expensive. I'll put the link in the comments as well. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. I hope you have a good one.